Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wrestle Plug YouTube channel. If you're watching it on YouTube, and if you're listening, God bless the 10 of you that still give a shit, including, of course, Aaron Cruz, who apparently can't afford a TV. I'm, of course, the king of shithousery, the proprietor and owner of Wrestle Plug, the Egyptian death machine, all of those things. I'm basically angry and I'm Egyptian, and I'm somewhat of a professional worker in wrestling. I say somewhat because apparently, according to some people, I'm a bit of a smart ass and a bit of a mark. Okay, whatever you say, fat boy. Moving on, I am, of course, Aeron, but joining me to discuss the wrestling news is not one, not two, but three magnificent individuals from the world of Wrestle Plug. We start, of course, with the proprietor of Peace Haven and no doubt the future Premier Promotions heavyweight champion of the world. And, of course, the man who will challenge alongside his bromance brethren, will challenge Good God Almighty at CWP's Pumpkins and Power Drivers for the CWP Tag Team Championships. It will be, of course, Cameron Anderson.
Yo, yeah, thank you for the introduction. I just want to remind everyone, do not say the A word, okay? Do not say it. If anyone on this pod says the A word, then 100 Egyptian goons are going to be outside their house.
I believe they're called terrorists. It's a joke. Grow up. I'm from Egypt. Fuck off. I love how
as long as it's not me saying that. It's okay.
People. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Let's open that fucking box of worms. Now, the man who puts wood in Bollywood. He is, of course, Tanvir Verde.
As always, thank you for having me, and I love you all.
Isn't he lovely, ladies and gentlemen? Now, somebody who's clearly not going to give us that level of love. And that's exactly why he's on this podcast, and how fitting he should be on this podcast when arguably the two biggest newsworthy points this week involve two people he absolutely despises. He is, of course, the Maple Leaf Magician. He is, of course, Canada's second favourite destroyer. He's got more diabetes and more insulin and more promo skills than Kenny Omega will ever have. Of course, Kenny Omega can't throw a punch, even save his life, the big fucking mark. He's, of course, the technical wizard himself and Canada's finest moody bastard, Carl Wilkinson.
Yeah, these guys put up with my moods a lot. It's actually unreal, ain't it? But let me punch Kenny Omega in the face. I bet you I could do it.
Yeah. Kevin, do you know
Maple Leaf.
He's the Maple Leaf Magician, mate. Absolutely. The master of 1004 snowballs. Absolutely incredible. Right, let's get into it. Let's anger Carl Wilkinson immediately with what is arguably one of the biggest news topics of the week, and that is, of course, all the fucking fallout from AEW's All Out, or All In. I can't remember. It was All Out, right? All Out? Tanvir, you're the resident expert on AEW. Yes, thank you. It's because you're the only one who bothers to watch it regularly. So, details emerging on a backstage fight at AEW All Out between CM Punk and the Elite. Following last night's All Out pay-per-view in Chicago, CM Punk snapped during a media scrum alongside AEW President Tony Khan. He went after journalists, he went after Colt Cabana, he went after the Elites, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, and Kenny Omega, and he went after Hangman Page for helping perpetuate much of the backstage and some on-screen drama that has taken center stage in the news of late. He spared no one and made clear exactly how he feels about all of them, outright saying he works for children, and if anyone has a problem with it, they can come to him. Reports quickly got out that shortly after he finished speaking and went backstage, the Elite did indeed go to him and a melee ensued. Now, Fightful and the Wrestling Observer have reported on some more details on what it was that happened in said melee. The Observer reports an actual fight went down, with Punk starting things by swinging fists at the Bucks. Matt Jackson, Punk's trainer, Ace Steel, was also involved and apparently threw a chair that hit Nick Jackson in the eye. Kenny Omega was also allegedly involved, and Steel apparently bit him and grabbed his hair. They also report part of the reason no one has publicly commented on all this is due to potential legal issues. There is a precedent for some kind of suspension here. Now, of course, since then, there's also been even more stuff that's come out. The All Out press conference, obviously, that we've just mentioned, was a bit of an eruption. Once Punk exited the press room, he exchanged words, blah, blah, blah. This is all news that we already know. Apparently, there will be suspensions for every person involved. The list of those receiving suspensions includes Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson, Pat Buck, Christopher Daniels, Michael Nakazawa, and Brandon, who's that cutler? That's apparently what's going down. Of course, everyone is on the internet saying it's not real, it's a work. Some people genuinely believe it's a shoot. But as is always the case with wrestling, you should take it with a pinch of salt. So we're going to start with Carl Wilkinson. 2 questions, mate. First of all, do you give a shit? And second of all, is it real or do you think it's all a big, fat, juicy work?
No, I don't give a shit because this is what happens when you let a bunch of frat boys run a wrestling company with a guy who just uses his dad's money and doesn't understand how business works.
Mark.
As far as I'm aware, his football team is very unsuccessful.
Yeah, they are. And they're playing my football team at Wembley in the UK at the end of October. And I am going to be throwing so much abuse at his stupid little face. I cannot wait.
I do think this is real, though. I don't think people would be reporting it the way they are if this was work, unless we're all getting super worked. Like, that would almost be incredible. But, like, I think Sean Ross Sapp's a pretty reliable guy when it comes to this kind of stuff. I don't know for sure. It just seems reliable enough. But
anyone who Nick Payne relies on for news is untrustworthy as far as I'm concerned. Remember that guy, Nick Payne? I wonder where Nick Payne is. If you're listening, please contact us, mate. I don't have to put you on the side of a milk carton.
Yeah, I didn't know those two were related. I'm gonna walk it back a step. So yeah, it's real. I don't know. It's really weird, but still interesting, I guess.
Cameron Anderson, do you think that if this is real indeed, that CM Punk should be fired? Because he seems to have a history of upsetting people backstage with his notoriety and his attitude.
So I don't really know if this is real. I don't really know. Yeah, if it's real or fake, I don't really care about that. This story just put a smile on my face. I'm sorry, it is funny. This is what we love. We love to see weird stuff going on backstage. Do I think CM Punk should be fired? Obviously, I don't really know what happened, so who knows? If he was like wailing on one of the Bucks' face with a chair, then perhaps. If maybe a few fists were thrown, probably not. But no, I just think this is really funny. I give this story 10 insulins out of 10.
The new marker. We've removed the gender rating and we have now moved on to insulin jabs. So to be honest, I give it an 8, but only if it is actually real. If it's a work, then it gets a 2. There's a lot of stuff floating around. Tanvir, you must have plenty to say. The floor is yours.
Not really much to add other than what Cam said. It's a funny story. It's actually made me giggle because it's like, okay, and like Kyle even said, it's a bunch of frat boys. It's just, if it's real, then okay. If not, it's just gonna be funny to look at, and I don't think can speculate until one of the people involved actually like says about the story. Whereas now it's coming from like Sean Ross, Dave Meltzer, who knows? But yeah, until one of the actual people involved speaks out on it, then. But for right now, it's just a funny story and a bit of an odd situation.
I love it. As the Wrestle Plugs resident frat boy, I'm all about this. All right. I love seeing the memes of Ace Steel's little weird gremlin face. I love it.
Yeah, there's even more news here. Apparently the Bucks initially were pounding on the door. There was no answer, so they kicked the door in, which would suggest it was locked, which is, if that is true, that makes Punk sound like a bit of a bitch because he's on stage saying, got a problem, come and say it to my face. It's like, well, it's a bit hard if you're going to lock the door in it, you gimp. Ace Steel, who obviously nobody has ever heard of, by the way, if anyone's seen Booker T's reaction on his own podcast about who the fuck Ace Steel is, absolutely hilarious. We put it on WrestlePlug's Facebook and Instagram. Check it out for yourself. Yeah, apparently the reason Ace Steel lost his mind was because his wife, who has a broken leg, was in the locker room and felt that it was unnecessary and unprofessional to behave in such a way, which is why he then proceeded to allegedly bite Kenny Omega, which is obviously been watching a few Luis Suarez videos, that boy. That's fair enough. We love a bit of Luis Suarez. Actually, we don't. He's a fucking gimp, just like Kenny Omega. To be honest, do you know what it sounds like? It just sounds like a bunch of petulant, stupid little children. So if it is real, what it does is it speaks horribly to this locker room culture that AEW has produced of, you can do basically whatever you want because I'm a big fat sweaty man called Tony Khan. So essentially what we're hearing is Tony Khan has said, yeah, you have more creative control. You can basically do whatever you want within reason. And this is what happens when you give people too much rope. Vince McMahon infamously was continuously critiqued for micromanaging everything. But this is the reason why. Because he runs a multi-billion-dollar corporation that's on TV, as does Tony Khan. And this is what happens when you give your employees, or essentially the old phrase goes, when you let the inmates run the asylum. Piss poor behavior. And I hate to say it, it's very uncomfortable, but we've been saying it for a while because it just feels that way. CM Punk continuously getting in stupid little fucking altercations, bad attitudes, taking his ball and going home, crying about things on the internet. Who cares if you don't like Colt Cabana? At this point, that's like beating up a puppy. Like, nobody gives a shit. Colt Cabana at one point very prominent for his podcasting, but let's be honest, nobody talks about Colt Cabana that much anymore unless he's brought up in reference to CM Punk. The whole thing just absolutely smells, and it makes it worse that it comes off the back of a 15-match pay-per-view. We're going to have a quick look at the results of that. Before we do, any final thoughts? And do you think that suspensions are good enough in this moment in time, or do you think that people should be fired? Anyone got any other opinions?
I'm going to start a fight at CWP Pumpkins and Pile Drivers. I'm starting a fight in the locker room. I'm going to piano wire Rudy Root.
God.
Wow.
Incredible scene. That it is recorded.
I think it's getting to the point now where Cam is actually going to rock up with a gun and shoot and start blasting in the locker room.
I mean,
Mate, I'm telling everyone
CWP weapons in the locker room.
Everyone CWP, make sure you bring your knives, bring your guns. Let's do it.
Bringing it back to the Glory Boys days, right to the 80s. Let's go.
That is a name for a future pay-per-view that Robbie Nitro needs to clear. And CWP, bring your guns. Bring your weapons. It's it's good. I know a couple of wrestlers on that locker room who would probably have a good time if that was the case. One of them being the legendary Ebenezer the Geezer. There's going to be a lot of AEW chatter on here for once because people are moaning at me constantly and sending me hate mail that apparently we hate AEW. We don't hate AEW, we hate the premise of it and we hate how it's booked, not AEW itself. Grow up. And also, if you don't like opinions, what the fuck are you doing here? Go and watch something a little bit more PG, you fucking gimps, like Rampage for starters. AEW All Out, of course, took place last weekend, the day after Clash at the Castle. Because I haven't seen it, I can't really quote anybody on whether it is as good or better than Clash at the Castle. You know, of course, we can't just enjoy wrestling. We've got to argue about which is better. I don't care. I went to the show that I wanted to see most and was ultimately going to see anyway. So I'm going to briefly run down the results and people are going to have their say as we go. Jericho Appreciation Society successfully defended the AAAR World Mixed Tag Team Championships. That is, of course, Sammy Guevara and Taynara Conti, who I believe is going by the name of Taynara Mello now. They defeated Ortiz and Ruby Soho by pinfall.
Cool.
I mean, Ruby Soho almost died. That's all you can really take away from this.
Yeah, Ruby Soho broke her nose apparently during this match, and there was also some incident. Yeah, I mean, it was only 6 minutes, so the fact they found time to almost end a career, very impressive. AEW botches must be very busy this week. Hooks defended the FTW Championship successfully against Angelo Parker by submission, and then was attacked by a guy who looks like a B-Tech Bray Wyatt.
Cool.
No? Okay.
No.
Pac successfully defended the AEW All Atlantic Championship against a guy with a bag on his face.
Yeah, Pac winning.
Cruz is crying. Cruz is crying right now.
When is he not crying? By the way, the reason you're not in the WrestleBlood group chat, Chris, is because you think Kip Sabian is the best wrestler in the world. Eddie Kingston defeated Tomohiro Ishii by pinfall. Tanvir, I'm sure you watched that. Any good?
This is one of only 2 matches I've watched from All Out, and this was really good. Not as good as Sheamus Gunther, even though they tried. And it is Ishii. I love Ishii. So I'd say if you want to watch it, it's free on YouTube. It's about the 47-minute mark on 0 hours. If you want to go watch it, it's free. Not much more to say.
Yeah, the pre-show for AEW All Out had Pac defending the title against Kip Sabian, and it also had Eddie Kingston versus Tomohiro Ishii. I should have watched that and then gone to bed. Simple as that. I mean,
that sounds like it slaps.
In the casino ladder match, the Joker, which has now apparently been unveiled as MJF, who also had Stokely Hathaway, Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty, Colton Gunn, Austin Gunn, and W. Morrissey, which I believe is Big Taz, isn't it? They all apparently basically wrecked shop during this match and helped MJF capture a AEW World Championship match at a future date. Also in this match was Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Penta El Zero Miedo, Rey Fenix with Alex Abrahantes, Roosh, Andrade El Idolo, with Jose the Assistant. What the fuck? Jose the Assistant. Why don't you just fucking call him a beaner and be done with it, you racist fucks? And Dante Martin was apparently in this match as well. Anyone see this?
No.
No,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I saw. Like, I'm pretty sure Stokely Hathaway like pulled the chip down and like gave it to MJF. I think that's what I saw.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
technically,
I've
MJF
seen
shouldn't have it.
I've seen them all hit the ring. Like, they're all
Yeah.
wearing black, I think, aren't they? And they all just fucking deck shop, and then out comes, to be fair, MJF's mask as the Joker looked really cool, by the way. Like, that's a mask that actually should be used for wrestling. That looked pretty
Remember when
sick.
people were excited about Ethan Page?
Who?
Yeah.
Who? Yeah, well, if CM Punk doesn't like him, then chances are he's probably not going to go very further. The final of the AEW World Trios Championship was won by the Elites, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, who defeated Hangman Page, the Dark Order, and which was comprising of Alex Reynolds and John Silver. Everyone okay with the Dark Order?
No, this is a big thumbs down. I think that's the most boring result they could have had. It would be a lot more
Most
interesting.
obvious one, too.
This was
Exactly. It's nice to do a little curveball.
Sorry for interrupting. That I shouldn't have. That was my bad.
That's all right, carry on.
Yeah, this was the only other match from All Out I watched, and it was really good. But like Cam said, it's the obvious result, and it should have been. They should have thrown that swerve and just had Page and Dark Order win, because John Silver incredibly over.
Yeah, good wrestler as well, actually. Not feeling the Dark Order, never enjoyed it that much, especially once Brody Lee passed. They should have kind of had their little sort of moment and then sort of moved on from it, in my opinion. It's nice that they kept it as a tribute to him, but ultimately it just doesn't feel like it has the vibe that he had. Jade Cargill successfully defended the AEW TBS Championship for 4 minutes 20 against Athena. She had Kiera Hogan and Layla Gray at ringside. She continues to be undefeated, I believe.
I think it was the wrong result.
Yeah,
I think that's the right result.
I think it was time for Jade to lose, and I think it should have been Athena winning, because now it's just going to be, okay, who are AEW going to sign next to have Jade come in? Because that's what they've kind of done with Jade, of like, oh, okay, we've signed this big name, Jade beats him. Okay, what's the next big women's name we're going to sign to have Jade beat? Because it's like,
It should be none of them.
It was Ruby
I think
Soho,
Jade
it
should
was
never
Athena.
lose.
Ever.
But she's got the TBS title.
100-year reign. 100-year reign.
To beat her for it. That Camille Brickhouse.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, she'd be amazing. Who, by the way, will be facing LA Taylor over here in Britain. How sick is that at UPW? It'll be Camille versus LA Taylor, our friend from the Wrestle blog, and also somebody I worked with quite recently on Coliseum. So
I give that 10 insulins.
yeah, absolutely. I give that more insulin than
Hey,
possible.
you don't just give insulin for fun, okay? There's formulas involved. Okay, that's dangerous.
B12s.
I take
We're
B12
giving it
too.
10 insulins.
Tanvir knows way too much about the forms of insulin. What's going on there?
I work for the NHS.
It's probably some really, really obscure racial comment that we made there, but I have no clue what it is.
Indians are the most prone to diabetes.
I thought it was Samoa. Apparently, like there was a big problem in Samoa with, because of their genetics, they put on weight very quickly, and apparently it has a much higher count of diabetes than considering it's small per capita. There's something going on there. I mean, we don't want to turn this into the diabetes hour with Carl Wilkinson, but you never know. Wardlow and FTR defeated Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns via pinfall in what was probably a better trios match, which didn't have any titles in it involved.
So that gets 10 Flintstone vitamins.
Oh, those were great. But I mean, cool that this tag match happened, but who wants title defenses on pay-per-view, I guess?
I know, right? Also, FTR like the best tag team in the world, and they're not in a traditional tag match of any kind.
And you have the Motor City Machine Guns right there.
I said to you, didn't I? Should have been Motor City Machine Guns versus FTR. Straight tag match, absolute banging classic. You could have had it for the belts that FTR hold, which I think is what, the Ring of Honor and AAA Tag Team Championships?
And the IWGP heavyweight.
The collectors. That would have been a much better use. I just don't see the point. I don't think they really know what to do with Wardlow. Powerhouse Hobbs defeated Ricky Starks by pinfall in 5 minutes.
This could have been on Dynamite or Rampage. Didn't need to be here.
Let's get 0. 0 out of 10 billion.
0 out of 10 billion what? Flintstone vitamins?
Just anything. Just literally, I'm so disappointed. Ricky Starks, please make this man a champion.
Ricky Starks should be right up there in the main event. That definitely.
He's literally so over as well. He's literally like one of their most over guys. So disappointing.
Like a megastar. He feels like The Rock did when he was young. Like he just has that X factor. He has that, that it factor that makes him so special. And not happening. Swerve and Our Glories successfully defended the tag team championships against the Acclaimed, Anthony Bowens and Max Caster. The only thing I've seen from this is a load of people chanting "Scissor Me Daddy" while Billy Gunn was dancing at ringside, which is interesting to say the very least. If this had happened on WWE, everyone would have fucking gone mental at how stupid it was. Now, I thought it was very funny. And I love the t-shirt, "Scissor Me Daddy." I definitely want one of those. If I ever wanted one t-shirt from AEW, it's that one. But yeah, do we think it's okay that Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland retain the tag titles?
I think
disagree with that result.
Yeah.
But I'm giving the Acclaimed 10 Simon Millers.
10 Simon Millers. Fair enough. Kyle looks defeated at this point.
I don't like it's AEW, man. Am I happy Keith Lee is like a champion and doing well? Am I happy Swerve is as well? Absolutely. They're great athletes, incredibly funny and charismatic. I don't care. I'm trying to be engaging, but Christ almighty.
There's more to engage here, don't you worry, mate, especially the negative portion of AEW, because apparently this isn't the negative portion of AEW. Toni Storm is the interim AEW Women's World Champion after defeating Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida. Everyone all right with that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's the best result.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, Toni Storm's gorgeous. Her latest photo shoot, by the way. Holy mama. Christian Cage defeated Jungle Boy in 20 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the end, is it? It's going to go and do another thingy.
It should be the end. It should be the end of AEW. No, I'm kidding.
AEW closes its doors.
Yes, because Jungle Boy jobbed in 20 seconds. To be fair, from what I can tell, Tanvir has rather kindly dropped a YouTube link in the chat, so I'll make sure I take a look at that at some point. Oh, it's to Kyle right now. Kyle, check that out. While he's doing that, even when he's not talking, he's still interrupting, goddammit. Although that's on me for bringing it to light. Apparently Luchasaurus attacked Jungle Boy before the match. So that's why
he turned heel again.
Chris Jericho defeated Bryan Danielson by pinfall.
That's embarrassing.
That's not great.
I didn't know that was a match.
Piss poor.
I'm sure it was a good wrestling match, but it's one of those things where it's like, why this obsession with constantly putting Chris Jericho over? It doesn't need to be done. He's done everything. It's not like he hasn't been AEW World Champion either. He's done that too. So he doesn't need to do anything anymore. He's just, by all means, have great matches. Go out there, do the job to Bryan Danielson, have a great match, and we can all say, good for you, mate. You're in great shape again. You're putting over the talents who need to be put over. I know Danielson isn't a young talent. He's been around a long time as well, but come on, he's still got much more traction on him than fucking Chris Jericho has at this point. Also, the Jericho Appreciation Society sucks dick. Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro defeated the House of Black.
Cool. Cool. Good for them. Nice work, guys.
I mean, apparently this was Malachi Black's last appearance for AEW for a while.
It is, yeah. We are going to mention that in a bit, but essentially he's having a lot of problems with mental health and stuff, and he's taking a hiatus from wrestling. So
most because he's booked at such a shitty company.
Yeah, fair enough. I do like Miro, to be fair. I feel like he should be.
I love Miro.
Yeah, big fan of. Always was a huge fan of him, particularly when he was in WWE. And in your main event, CM Punk defeated Jon Moxley by pinfall for the AEW World Championship.
Moxley should have retained.
Well, after the fact, they're probably thinking, shit, we wish that had happened now. if this is all apparently real, but
I feel like they've diminished the stature of the world championship because it's like been hot potato between those two for like the last 2 months or whatever. Like, why have Moxley destroy Punk in like 3 seconds on Dynamite? I just know that because Twitter told me. For them to have a rematch like 2 weeks later and have Punk win again. What does that do for Moxley? What does that do for the title? And why is CM Punk such a bitch? These are all questions I need answers to.
I disagree. I think it's okay to have, short title reigns, to spice things up a little bit. And also it's nice to throw a couple of them in there because now people aren't really expecting every single AEW title reign to last like 4,000 days. So, just adds the unexpected. I know when Kenny Omega won it, everyone was just like, okay, now we've got to put up with a year of this because he's not dropping it. It's nice to be a little bit, to expect something unexpected, I guess.
I mean, I can understand that, but now I think we need more people in that scene. Like, I think Adam Cole's injured. I'd love to see him there. We need Bryan Danielson back in there. We need Miro in there.
Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, he's never winning it. I would love to see it.
He needs to be champ.
He won't be.
He should. If he's not fired, Eddie Kingston should be the one to beat Punk for the title.
Why would he be fired? I know he talks a lot.
He killed Sammy, didn't he?
Well, apparently.
Well, he served a 2-week suspension for that. If these guys get any less than like a month suspension or whatever, that's actual garbage.
How's there been 2 fights in like 2 minutes in AEW?
Because they're all a bunch of drunk frat boys, dude. CM Punk's not strange anymore. He was fucking drunk in that media call. I don't care.
John Moxley's the boy. He's on the non-alcoholic beers these days. So John Moxley, this is for you.
As somebody who very rarely drinks at all, I have to respect that game, and I'm also pleased for him that he's sober because that is a very slippery slope.
John Moxley, his performance this year earns 1 Lego Batman keyring.
I begrudgingly enjoy that comment because I love Lego Batman the film.
Brilliant.
He's just fucking phenomenal and absolutely underrated banger. What do we think about CM Punk going absolutely all in on Hangman Page as well, as if there wasn't enough fucking news flying around? His comments were basically, after successfully becoming the world champion, we obviously know all about the post-show media scrum where he's in a very foul mood. He kicked things off with an unprompted tirade against Colt Cabana. But once he was done with Cabana, he kept going, appearing to blame AEW's EVPs. He said there are people that call themselves EVPs that should have fucking known better, Punk said. That shit was none of their business. I understand sticking up for your fucking friends. I fucking get it. I stuck up for Cabana more than anybody. I paid his bills until I didn't, and it was my decision not to. Punk also called former AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page somebody who hasn't done a damn thing in his business, and accused Page of jeopardizing the first $1 million house that this company has ever drawn off of my back, he said. The $1 million house was a reference to AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view event back in May, which was headlined by a championship match between Punk and Page. It's a disgrace to this industry. It's a disgrace to this company, Punk said. The issues between Punk and Page appeared to stem from their rivalry over the World Championship a few months ago. We're far beyond apologies, Punk said of Page. I gave him a fucking chance. It did not get handled, and you saw what I had to do, which was very regrettable, which is in reference to the fact that he called him out in a alleged shoot promo on Dynamite, lowering myself to his fucking level, but that's where we're at right now, and I will still walk up and down this hallway and say, if you have a fucking problem with me, take it up with me. Let's fucking go. Carl Wilkinson, fancy yourself in a fight against CM Punk.
I mean, guy goes 0-3 in UFC. I could probably do it.
Have you seen the meme that we put on WrestleBlog of CM Punk allegedly throws punches and then underneath it's like, yo, we all saw his UFC thing. It ain't a problem.
Yes, I did see that. Yeah.
Well, credit to the guy I found on Twitter who randomly put that out. I don't know who it was, but yeah, good shout. Great stuff. Yeah, just more. Do you know what? I find that CM Punk, he's always out here saying, yeah, you got a problem with me, fight me. It's like, mate, you do much more talking than you do fighting.
Bobby Fish called him out.
Yeah, I'd love to see Bobby Fish drag his ass down the corridor like a 2-cent whore, mate. I'll be all for that shit. Plus, Bobby Fish is gorgeous. Bobby Fish to be AEW World Champion next, please. So, moving on to even more fun topics. Wrestling's really fucked this week, isn't it? EC3 claims that former WWE superstar took inappropriate videos of wrestlers Without their permission. Patrick Clark Jr., who competed as Velveteen Dream, was recently arrested on charges of first-degree battery and trespassing. However, EC3 wasn't shocked to learn that his former colleague was in trouble with the law. While speaking to Sports Key to Wrestling, EC3 said that Clark Jr. has a lot of demons in the closet and went on to share a story about finding inappropriate videos of other wrestlers on his phone. We had a pie, and it was at my place, and Clark Jr. came over because I'm being friendly, and I'm a top guy, and I tried to welcome everybody into the thing. He left his phone in my bathroom with a camera on, trying to capture people taking pisses. So there, according to EC3, the phone was positioned next to a soap dispenser so that it could capture people using the toilet. He claimed that he found the device positioned selfie style, propped up on filming when he went to use the bathroom, noting that it was set up to capture people's private parts. At first, EC3 thought he was tripping. However, when he finally realized what was going on, he made sure that he put an end to it. What I did was I took the phone, I stopped the recording, I made sure the PP video of my wee-wee was deleted. Because that was, this is literally what he said that was happening in my home, by the way. Afterwards, EC3 booted everyone from his house to avoid starting a confrontation with Clark Jr. Clark Jr. was also released, of course, from WWE in 2021 due to reported behavioral issues with alleged sexual misconduct. Just before we do obviously touch on that, which is probably the worst turn of phrase you could use to discuss that fucking topic, there is also details of Velveteen Dream punching and biting during his recent arrest. TMZ is reporting that the recent arrest of Patrick Clark stemmed from the former NXT North American champion biting a gym employee and punching him in the face, leaving teeth marks on the employee's left chest near the armpit, according to documents received by TMZ. Clark got into an altercation with a senior gym employee after being told to leave an area that was closed for cleaning. Clark also reportedly threatened to kill the employee. Yeah. WWE looking more and more smart for releasing this guy. Remember when we had that fucking gimp on Twitter given out to us for trying to cancel him? Awkward.
Awkward.
Yeah, aged very well.
Any thoughts?
How many?
I've got a few thoughts. I've got to say, I actually rate
videos in toilets. Of course, you've got thoughts.
Yeah, but I actually rate EC3 for putting himself over in the toilet peeping story as a top guy. That is funny.
That is literally the two
EC3.
things that stand out to me in that story. One is him saying, I was a top guy, so I thought I invite everyone. I was like, you were never a top guy, bro. Maybe in NXT.
He's a top guy in my mind.
Oh, yeah, no, I do like EC3, but changing your narrative, mate. Looks like you've changed yours quite a bit in that story. And also the fact
My narrative is that
EC3.
My narrative is that EC3 is a top guy. And I have to say, this Patrick Clark, get him in the jail, put him in the pen.
Put him in the pen. You've been watching a few episodes of MASH, have you? Settle down.
The penitentiary.
Also,
the Pat Clark Penitentiary. Yeah.
Oh, that's just a little too handsy for me.
ECP.
No,
No, you don't say
Carl
Velveteen
Wilkinson,
Dream
do
and
you have any?
CP in the same
Cameron
sentence.
Anderson,
It's just not
shut
done.
your fucking mouth. Christ almighty. That's one strike for Cameron Anderson interrupting the pod. So, Carl Wilkinson, any thoughts on this, mate? Because you haven't really been able to talk while Cameron's been talking over us.
I mean, that's like sexual harassment in one way or another. He should be, I'm pretty sure he was like grooming, I think is one of the accusations he had back in the day. Yeah. So he's absolutely a sexual predator in one way or another. The guy needs to be put on a watch list and should absolutely be jailed. And if he's not,
do you have any problems with EC3 bringing this story out when he could have legitimately maybe taken it to the police as further evidence?
it makes me feel like it's one of those like old school, tough guys, we do it ourselves. I'm like, no, man, shit like that, like
we're real men. We watch each other piss and shit.
yeah, like that's such a weird thing.
I got your EC3 right here in my pants.
Yeah, EC 3 inches. Like, what do you mean?
NXT, more like NXP. Am I right? Right. He's upset that he got leveled, or if he's actually thinking about toilet selfies with Cameron and Cruz.
Cam is a piss kink.
Yeah, probably.
What?
All right, I'm going to sit back and let you boys thrash that one out.
What's with these accusations?
Cam, I love
fucking
you.
muzzle on Tanvir.
Are you calling me a piece of shit because I'm brown? What the fuck are you saying?
Wow.
Oh my god.
I think we all know Cam would piss on a snowball and throw it at you.
Oh yeah. Cam
That
likes
I will
pissing on
attest
things.
to.
Jackass
Cam-
4.5 WrestleBlog. The WrestleBlog does not condone any racist behavior towards Tanvir Verdi and wishes him well in his future endeavors.
Cam, I love you. It's all banter. You know I love you.
It's all banner. but don't
I
call
think
me
he's just trying to seduce you into peeing on him. I don't know.
I
I don't know, like-
we missed Kyle Wilkinson.
You can't just say that and they go, "Nah, man, it's cool. You know I love you." Like, what are you, Eminem at the end of a song, like a fucking song? Like, come on, you can't just say that.
I'm gonna get a flight to Canada and go straight to Pussy Lake.
I mean, go for it. It's all dried up, dude. There's nothing there.
Yeah, because you've been using it all up.
Yeah, I wish, bro. I haven't been swimming in years.
Wait, is Pussy Lake actually dried up?
I don't know. I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah, it's in
Please tell
Canada.
me
It's
it's
real.
still
Never
there.
moist. What you on about?
My country's like 50 times the size of yours. I can't know every lake.
I've told you so many times about Pussy.
I thought you were just making a joke.
No, it's real and it's in
There's
Canada.
a legitimate lake called Pussy Lake in Canada.
Cool. Okay. Where is it?
All right, road trip. Come on, who's coming with me to do some dogging at Pussy Lake, man? Come on.
Oh, is it
You're not going to
raining
get this
today?
on Mob Culture, are you?
We'll do dog and Cam can be the cameraman.
Oh, it's way up north. It's right up near Thunder Bay.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I wonder why Cam will be the cameraman. Piss! Allegedly, ladies and gentlemen. Allegedly. We're going to get in so much trouble for this podcast. So, Pat McAfee has sadly, he hasn't retired from his role as SmackDown's color commentator, but he will now be the full-time pundit for ESPN's College Game Day. He'll be full-time in that position going forward. Paul Triple H Levesque, WWE's current head of talent relations, and chief content officer, tweeted out a message to McAfee regarding the latter's new position with ESPN. Pat McAfee approached us about his amazing opportunity with College Game Day. We'd never stand in Pat's way as he continues to architect his exceptional career. Pat will remain a member of the WWE universe. We look forward to his return. Unfortunately, news coming out is that Pat McAfee will not be on SmackDown for the foreseeable future. So,
Sad.
two questions. Obviously, how much will he be missed, and who should be his replacement?
He's going to be extremely missed, and for Pat's replacement, it's going to be really hard to choose. Because with Corey Graves already being on Raw, I would have said because Corey Graves and Michael Cole, they put in an absolute class commentary duo on for Clash of the Castle. So
Not Byron Saxton, because he's a fucking gimp, innit?
he added nothing.
What do we think about Cameron Anderson's unpopular wrestling opinion that Byron Saxton is very good?
Yeah, he's good at getting kicked in the dick.
I want Aeron to answer that with his opinion that he said on the Clash review, which is amazing.
Yeah, I'm already in trouble for that. I refer to Byron Saxton as arguably the whitest black man I've ever seen. She's no offense to obviously anyone involved with culture, but ultimately stop being a fucking white man then and stop behaving like one. Do you know what? If the roles are reversed, we'd be very upset, wouldn't we? Let's be real. True equality lies in not recognizing anything. But I personally am a bit gutted because I think Pat McAfee has added to what is an excellent brand. SmackDown is definitely WWE's best material. It's 2 hours. It has the tribal chief and, of course, our Lord and Savior of all professional wrestling that is Roman Reigns, who, by the way, is a locker room leader who doesn't cause any fucking trouble and doesn't go on media scrums and abuse people and then start fights backstage. Just saying. Also, I'd love to see CM Punk actually start shit with him because literally he's the size of Roman Reigns' leg. But it is that thing of, it does diminish it slightly. Nigel McGuinness would be my personal choice as color commentator. I feel like this is the perfect opportunity. He was a wonderful color commentator, particularly when he was involved with NXT and, of course, 205 Live. He actually really elevated that product too, in my opinion.
You've reminded me of how good Nigel McGuinness and Michael Cole were for the UK tournament 5 years ago. So Nigel McGuinness, absolute shoo-in.
There's money there, and he is, but from what I can tell, I mean, obviously NXT UK is no longer a thing. I assume he's going to be part of the rebranded NXT Europe, and he'll probably have quite a lot to do with that backstage as well, because he was such an incredible wrestler in his time, especially for Ring of Honor. And who can forget his incredible run in TNA as what Chelsea wants, Chelsea gets. Good stuff. I actually really like Desmond Wolf. I thought he was great. A lot of people didn't, but obviously I'm going to root for my boy Nige. Any final thoughts?
It's going to be Graves, isn't it? Like it's just gonna be Corey Graves.
He's
Well,
ready.
having-
I like him and Cole. Like they bounce off each other really well. At least I can't really, other than Notifications, which I think would be sick. But I mean, there's not really a lot of other color commentators really. I can't think of anyone else that could do it. Grace has been doing it long enough. I mean, he's a bit of a dickhead, but I'm just gonna miss Pat freaking out for Shinsuke Nakamura's theme. It's my favorite
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same, and I really hope whoever does it doesn't try and mimic it by getting on the table and stuff, because it's just
Let
not...
Cole do it. Let Michael Cole do it. Just once. Get up on the table.
As a tribute to Pat.
Yeah.
Michael Cole starts thrusting his penis towards Corey Graves. You like that shit, pal? There's no
Well-
Vince McMahon to tell me off anymore. Fuck you, buddy.
Oh.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll move on from that, but we obviously wish Pat McAfee very well. And as somebody who does watch College Game Day, really excited to watch him on that. I think that would be fucking awesome. A little bit of a news story here, just for a bit of fun. Mike Chioda, the referee, who seems to have a lot of opinions, despite being relatively unknown, especially if you're not very clued up on referees. He once described what it was like to referee a Vince McMahon WWE match. He was on his something called the Monday Mailbag. No clue, more like the Monday Ball Bag. You're stressed with Vince in the ring. You don't want to fuck up, Chioda said. If he asks for a spot or asks for something like, hey, what's next? You better know it. You know what I'm saying. What I like about Vince is when Vince asks you to do something, you say, I can get it done. Chioda went on to recall how he became even more nervous after Vince got older and became more susceptible to injury. I remember the day he blew out his quads in the ring, just walking down to the ring, you know, he got in the ring and blew out his quads. Former WWE champion Vince, that's ridiculous in his own right, wrestled a total of 57 matches over his career, despite not being a trained professional wrestler. Vince's most recent match, of course, was on night 2 of WrestleMania, which Austin Theory obviously interfered in. Chioda brought up Vince tearing his quads, taking place at the 2005 Royal Rumble, and basically he said that, the bottom line of the story is that apparently it was actually quite easy to referee a match with Vince McMahon. Who would want to referee a match with Vince McMahon?
I mean, I'd
Get
do it.
socks involved.
Can we just acknowledge the fact that him tearing both his quads at the Royal Rumble is still arguably one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen in professional wrestling?
Oh yeah.
Oh, him sitting on the floor, just like yelling up at everyone, is literally the best thing I've ever seen.
Batista's looking at him like, what's a gift? I take orders from this guy. It's funny. It is funny. Right, let's talk about arguably the greatest return in the history of WWE Raw. Braun Strowman finally returned to the promised land. Braun Strowman interfered in the fatal 4-way tag team match. I believe it might have been for a #1 contendership as well.
Sure was.
Yeah, he basically came down, wrecked shop. Not before, of course, he did actually trip over and completely miss Chad Gable on the way, which I heard Carl Wilkinson howling from Canada over that. Braun Strowman on Raw, potentially, but apparently showing up on SmackDown this week as well. Braun Strowman in WWE, yay or nay?
I'd say nay. It's gonna. Let's see where it goes. Initially, I'm nay, but let's see where it goes.
He gave up the control of his own narrative.
He didn't control his narrative very well, did he? He's right back where he started.
I mean, he's just going to get fed to Roman, right? Yeah, exactly. He's going to get fed to Roman, and it's going to be like, it'll be a match we haven't seen, so great.
I think he's the man to beat Omos.
Oh yeah.
I forgot Omos was even a thing.
Yeah, Omos.
Is he still there?
I assume so. He might be injured or something, or maybe because Vince has gone there, like, yeah, can we get rid of this guy because he's fucking shit?
Yeah.
MVP should be Braun Strowman's manager. That's what I want to see.
But MVP back with Lashley.
Yeah,
No, I
that
don't
would be nice. I'd like to see a fully quoted Hurt Business versus the Bloodline with Solo Sikoa now added.
Hurt Business v Imperium.
That'd be nice too. Yeah.
Yeah, but
By
I
the
bet you
way-
Lashley and Gunter.
Who's seen Gunter's tweet where he sat outside with a cigar going, what's next?
Yeah, that's sick. What a bad motherfucker.
He is a fucking gangster, isn't he? Honestly, I love that guy so much. He really is. So, Carl Wilkinson, I know you don't give a shit, but do you think, does Braun Strowman add anything to the roster, or do you not bother?
I mean, of course he does. Like, I remember when he was first brought into the Y family, I think Luke Harper was injured, I think, at the time. And like, he was just like this big fat dude and he was garbage. And they're like, we're going to put him one-on-one with The Undertaker. And we're all like, please don't. And then 2017, him and Roman, that was fucking incredible stuff. And then it just kind of, yeah, and that's 5 years ago. That's
Well,
5
that was
years ago.
2017. Fuck me, he's been around a while now, hasn't he?
Yeah. And
That was
you
good
know,
shit. That ambulance match, mwah, good stuff.
yeah, that shit was great. Like,
is the insinuation that the cars that have been turned over? Do we think that's the Braun Strowman effect, not Dexter Lumis?
I mean, I hope it's Dexter Lumis because that's fucking hilarious.
It's the idea that he's jetpassing people's rental cars.
Yeah.
It makes more sense though, doesn't it? Because Braun Strowman was always tipping over vehicles.
Well, I love
Yeah,
Dexter
I think that
Lumis.
was a little teaser that Braun was back.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
It's very subtle. Like that's like since Triple H took over, like you'll be like watching competitors walk to the ring for their match. And you'll see shit in the background, and that actually means something now, which is really neat. All the little details. But Braun Strowman's a big detail, and he's going to show up on SmackDown on Friday, and I have to pretend to care. Just no more. If he's going to stick around, please just take away the fucking train noises when he runs around the ring.
Choo choo.
And make sure he's wearing non-slip shoes.
Yeah.
That happens. That
No,
happens.
Cam.
Bless up Braun Strowman.
Cam.
He fell.
Oh,
That shit was funny, but bless up.
Cam, you've seen Bullet Train, right?
I have some Bullet Train.
Just have him be like Lemon from Bullet Train. Just constant Thomas the Tank Engine references.
I don't understand this reference, and it annoys me because I really want to see that film, but I have no money.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
I have
go
to wait
watch
for it to
Bullet
come
Train,
out.
guys, in cinemas. I think at the moment still.
Yeah.
Who
Leaving
is the
soon.
biggest diesel on the Raw roster?
It's ironic
Ooh.
you mention that because my next news story is Kevin Nash.
Oh, please tell me, is it about his advert?
No, well,
Oh.
I don't know. From what I can tell, we'll get to that in a moment. AEW has become the second largest wrestling organization in North America. Thanks for the update, Wrestling Inc. AEW wrote me in with fucking CM Punk versus John Moxley, Nash said on Click This. What they're doing over is the fucking thing I hate, which is they're booking for the smarts. And if you're smart, then you already know there is no way CM Punk would kick with a foot that was injured to re-injure himself and go down and cut the match short. Basically, he was having a whinge. Apparently, he doesn't like the fact that AEW books for smarts. Do we think that Kevin Nash has a point?
Yeah. There he
Yeah,
does.
sure. I like Kevin Nash. I think he's got a lot good to say considering how much money he was able to draw back in the day. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose his advice is always warranted.
Yeah, he was in a film with Channing Tatum recently called Dog. It was really good.
He was in Magic Mike with Channing Tatum.
Yeah, and he was
Magic Mike XXL.
yeah,
Yeah,
and he
he's
was
not
greatest
in the
films
longest
ever
yard,
made.
mate, and that's where the real money's at.
he was in a film called Dog this year with Channing Tatum, and he plays a pot farmer. It's pretty funny.
He's also in
Yeah,
The Punisher,
Is he?
Standing all over their Tatum.
I
not
don't
the
know.
series film. I can't remember which.
Oh
Punisher.
yeah, yeah. Is he
He's the
guy
main bad
who-
guy.
Yeah,
He's like a giant Russian guy or something.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, I thought that film was quite good. I just love all things Punisher related. It's like more edgy, dark stuff. I can't help but feel that the Punisher should be in DC, if I'm being honest. But that's obviously for any other business at the end of the
Punisher's basically if Batman would kill. If
I would like to
Batman,
see Batman versus is it John Bernthald's Punisher? Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is, as far as I know, being brought back. So I'm excited for that.
Yes, I'm excited about that, and I think they're going to do a film, aren't they? A Daredevil film with him in it.
They're doing gonna be doing like a Daredevil TV series again with Charlie Cox back in the role.
He was in the original, wasn't he? The TV series they did on Netflix. He was in
Yeah.
that. Well, wasn't he, Bernthald? That's where he made his debut as the Punisher.
and probably tomorrow, I reckon he'll be appearing in She-Hulk, episode 4.
Interesting. I still
Well, no,
haven't seen She-Hulk.
Yeah, Charlie, like Daredevil will be, not the Punisher, like because
Yes,
Oh.
yeah, Daredevil.
because Matt
Daredevil.
I
Murdock
was
is
going to
also a
say the
lawyer.
Punisher seems a bit dark for She-Hulk. Like, it's like we're just talking about this fun, happy-go-lucky female lawyer, and then all of a sudden John Bernthald just tips up. Don't mind me, I'm just going to murder a few cunts in the background.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
just blows away some jurors or something.
We'll have time to talk about Marvel and DC as we always do at the end of the podcast. So apparently, it has been rumored by Fightful Select that Freddie Prinze Jr. will be starting up a future wrestling company and has already tabled a serious offer with a large amount of money to one Bray Wyatt. Should he take the money and go there, or should he return to WWE?
He's got to do what makes him happy.
So Jojo, yeah.
That's such a
I
basic
think,
answer.
Ray, it's time to look at both contracts, read the fine lines very closely and, just follow your heart, man. That's what I think. But
Those are
also,
such
if Freddie
basic
Prinze
bitch
Jr.
answers
is
for me,
hiring,
guys.
if Freddie Prinze Jr. is hiring, Cameron Anderson 44 at outlook.com for bookings. Thank you, Freddie. Sorry, Mr.
mean, yeah.
Prince. Sorry,
if you're
Mr.
gonna-
Prince Jr.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't forget our junior.
Mhm.
So,
Dude, if you're
not
gonna
looking
be
like
hanging
a
it with
junior.
him, Sarah Michelle Gellar's gonna be hanging around there. You got Fred and Daphne just hanging
Oh
out.
yeah.
Man. Oh, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Dude, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was my first like super big crush. Like it was unreal.
Yeah, I must admit, I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I thought it was well good. CM Punk
Yeah.
apparently is seriously injured due to his match at.
His balls are made
AEW.
of ash.
It's just Punk saying in the media scrum of like he's old, exhausted, and tired of working with kids. It's like then go home, go away. You don't need to be here then.
Apparently, regardless of the fallout, there is suggestions that tonight's AEW Dynamite will address the world title situation, and there is a very good chance that they'll have to crown a new one very soon. And of course,
Jesus.
you've got Moxley and obviously MJF and apparently Chris Jericho all vying for an opportunity. That's apparently so. I wouldn't surprise me if they throw in a triple threat there at some point, which fucking doesn't really make any sense because why would I want Jericho and MJF going after the same belt when they're supposed to be the Uber heels? It just kind of puts Moxley at a disadvantage. And also, we've seen it all before. MJF seems like the most likely competitor to win it, should win it, but ultimately, if he's not taking it off of Punk himself, it feels like it's not as highly valued to me. But yeah, CM Punk injured again, seriously, which is an issue as he's literally just come back from a major injury. So it is what it is. Any thoughts on CM Punk being injured?
Don't
Get
care.
well soon, Phil.
Stay home, buddy. We don't need you.
All right. Who's
Gosh.
up for a bit of fun? Because there
I
hasn't
like
been
fun.
So these are dream matches that people believe would have lived up to the hype. We're going to do 2 fat segments here, which should be
Ooh.
good fun. So I'm going to read out these matches that Wrestling Inc. believes would have been absolute hype-worthy dream matches, and you're going to tell me whether you would have loved to have seen it or not. Bearing in mind, both individuals would have been in their prime when these matches took place. Are we ready, boys?
Yo, I'm ready.
Sir.
We start
Oh.
with Bret Hart versus Chris Jericho.
When is this prime Jericho?
I-
Like 2008?
I guess whenever you like.
Because I'm thinking like 2008, like when he was doing the stuff with Shawn Michaels. I think that would be like
that was
prime
good.
Jericho.
Yeah.
I'd watch the
Um,
shit out of that.
Like
I'd
to
watch
see
it.
Iron Heart Jericho from ECW face Bret Hart because that's when it would have been the best technical match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he's fresh out the door, like when
Yeah.
he's finding himself. Cameron Anderson, yay or nay? Bret Hart versus Chris Jericho.
So I consider prime Chris Jericho Jericho as soon as he took his first bump. So I have to say, very inexperienced. Probably not going to be the best match, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, I think it absolutely would have sold a lot of it. So in that respect, hype is worthy.
It-
Legion of Doom versus Demolition.
I'm gonna
Did
say
that really never happen?
Apparently so, yeah.
Really?
Oh,
I'd
because
watch
Money
that.
Inc. took it off Demolition, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Demolition, I believe, were released by WWF due to issues backstage and also other nefarious things, allegedly.
Yeah, I know the Legion of Doom were more like NWA back then. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think.
AWA,
Or like-
Legion of Doom, Road Warriors is probably when they were the best, in my opinion, wrestlers,
Yeah.
but that's up for debate. I always felt they were much better than before they got to WWF. They were still good, but much better. And also, Hawk, it just got worse and worse and worse. And obviously in WWF, we had that horrendous angle where he was pushed off the Titantron and not good.
Yeah. No, those would be 4 guys beating 10 pounds of shit out of each other. I'd watch
That's
that.
an
too.
80s.
I'd watch it.
If that had happened in AWA or NWA, yeah. In WWF, no. The Rock versus Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I would have banged. That would have been
Yeah,
so
that
sick.
would have been good.
Yeah, that would.
That's probably the easiest home run on this list for me. I look at that and I think, yeah, those two in their prime, yes, but it's amazing they never, ever met paths. But it's because The Rock's notoriety essentially kicked in right after Shawn Michaels left because of his back injury.
Hmm.
Yeah. Can you imagine The Rock overselling his Sweet Chin Music like he did a Stunner?
Oh yeah.
Hulk Hogan versus Nikita Koloff.
I'm gonna say nay.
I love Nikita Koloff. If you go back and watch his old NWA stuff when he was having out Ric Flair, great stuff. Promo just dropped actually tonight, or will drop tonight on WrestlePlug. It was Ric Flair's famous promo when he was threatening Nikita Koloff, who I believe was his next challenger 37 years ago to the day.
Jeez.
Very, very cool stuff. Yeah, it's been a long time. Nikita Koloff actually almost came on his podcast once, but we couldn't work it out, which was a real shame because I would have absolutely bitten his hand off to chat to him about wrestling. A really, really special talent in his own right. Or his brother.
I'm giving
I
that a
believe.
yay.
One's still alive. Is it Nikita or Ivan? It's whoever the one is alive. I apologize if I've got that one wrong. The Undertaker versus Drew McIntyre.
Prime Taker. Would Prime Taker be like 0809 with the Shawn match and stuff?
It's
No, give
literally
me
just
American-
what you think.
I would
That's
rather
what
have
you're
American Badass Taker
Yeah.
versus Drew
Okay.
McIntyre. Drew
Oh, yeah.
like it.
McIntyre, when he just won the WWE title versus Badass Undertaker would be sick.
Oh yeah, that would sell. That would sell a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, easy
Stone
stuff.
Cold Steve Austin versus CM Punk.
Eh.
Yeah, I can take it or leave that. I can take or
I
leave that.
would
to
I
be
would
fair.
say yes if Prime Punk is ROH Punk.
I feel like he wouldn't have been a big enough star to hang with Austin at that point.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been a big enough superstar, if you know what I mean.
No.
Shawn
It
Michaels
would-
versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
that was
that
bad.
would
2014 Brian against like 2000, like even like 2008 Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. 2002, 2003 Shawn Michaels. I really loved his return. He was great. That street fight he had with Triple H was magnificent. So, yeah, I think from a wrestling standpoint, amazing. Here's a sleeper hit for you. Prime Scott Steiner versus Prime Kurt Angle.
Yeah,
Is-
I'm watching
he's
that
only got
match.
a 32 and a 2/3 chance of winning.
Is this Big Papa Pump or is this like tagging
is
with
like-
with his brother?
Yeah, this is basically when it. I think it's open to interpretation because they did have that terrible match in TNA. If I remember.
Yeah.
But when Steiner was very mobile and in his prime and was a tag team champion.
What do you
with his
mean?
brother.
What do you mean? Scott Steiner's always in his prime. He's Scott fucking Steiner.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with him because he ripped my fucking head off.
It's
I love Scott Steiner, man. I love Scott
I
Steiner.
love him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Scott
Scott
Steiner is like
Steiner's
a
the G. That
Scott
gets a fun
Steiner
one.
is like a sleeper hit for like all-time most entertaining wrestler for me.
He's got the best. He's got the best backstage bit in me for Impact when it's like, oh, it's the cops, and it's like, hey, listen, she was 14, and she was 18. It's like just such a throwaway line that just gets me every time.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels versus Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a fun
Absolutely.
one.
Easy. That's
That
the
is a
biggest
Simon
thumb I could
Miller
do.
out of 10.
Steve Austin versus Brock Lesnar.
Shame it
That's
never
a
actually
thumb up.
happened.
That would be what are we calling Prime Brock?
Uh,
2003, 2004.
2002.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm saying
then.
Brock today. I'm saying Cowboy
Brock
Brock.
right
I'm
now
saying
is
that's a
actually sick.
that's a
Oh
win.
man, Cowboy Brock against Cowboy Austin. Hell yeah. Give Austin
Cowboy
that
Brock
stupid little cowboy hat.
versus 98 Austin. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll have
Easy.
some of that.
Yeah.
The Rock versus Brock 2. But the thing
Oh,
is,
I
it's
don't
not
know.
really, it's not a dream match because we already saw it.
Yeah, I think like The Rock hurt himself in a match with John Cena at WrestleMania, and Cena's like by all counts like a safe worker. I think Lesnar would kill Rocky now.
Yeah, but I'd pay to see it. I'd pay to see that shit.
Oh yeah, I'd pay to see it
Cowboy
easy.
Brock
Yeah,
versus Hollywood Rock. Let's do it.
give me a Rock concert. Get shitting on Minnesota or something.
Yeah, the one when he was in Canada was hilarious.
Yeah, right in Toronto. Yeah, we don't like that. You
stuff
can't
with,
say that kind of stuff.
The stuff with that hurricane as well was when he was hiding in his locker room is actually fucking money, if you ask me.
Hey, you could never take away the fact that Shane Helms has a victory over The Rock. You can't
Oh,
take
yeah.
that away from him.
The Rock speaks very openly about it and says he loved helping out Hurricane Helms. He had a great time working with him. He was a lot of fun. So the final match on this list is John Cena versus The Undertaker. It has happened, I believe, at Vengeance 2003, I want to say, when he was the
WrestleMania.
American Badass. But yeah, like it did happen at WrestleMania, but yeah, it was only about 3 minutes long, if I remember rightly. What do we think about a full Prime Taker versus Prime Cena 25 minute classic?
Yeah, I'm there for that.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
there
watch
for
that.
that.
Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't 2003.
Ironically enough, a thunderstorm has just started outside as we've started talking about Taker, which I think is brilliant. Yeah, although there has admittedly been a lot of thunderstorms lately. Enjoy them if you so are inclined to do so. So yeah, that was all the hype matches. I thought they were very, very, very good. Now, before we get to our final little bit of fun, we should mention the fact that Triple H has got a new promotion within WWE. Triple H took over as both WWE head of creative and head of talent relations in late July, following Vince McMahon's departure from the company. He has now received another by becoming the company's chief content officer, as confirmed by a press release on Monday. Looks like Triple H is getting more and more strength and power within the company. This can only be a good thing, surely.
Nice work.
Can only
Good
be
job. Yeah, good job, Mr. Hurst Helmsley.
Mr.
I'm
Hurst
happy for you,
Helmsley, not
brother.
Mr. Levesque.
Yeah, obviously.
Or Levesque.
I've
I
you know,
believe
got to
the
address him by his correct title.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, I Tanvir, any opinions on that?
Not really.
Fair enough. That makes a joke. All right, it's time for the big one, ladies and gentlemen. We've spoken about the news, but there is one thing that you may not know, and that is, of course, that we have issues with AEW. And if you don't know that, you're not paying attention. Wait, what? Oh, me and Tanvir had a little chat the other night, and we decided something that, let's be honest, a lot of us have spoken about ad nauseum on this podcast, that the roster is too big at AEW. So I asked the boys to write down a list of wrestlers that they believed could be removed from AEW without sacrificing any of the quality of the on-air product that we currently see at this time. Not saying that they don't deserve a job. What we're saying is they're not being used correctly in AEW, or frankly, nobody gives a shit if they were removed tomorrow. So who has written down a list of AEW talents that they believe could be shit canned?
I was
Just
at work,
Tanvir.
but I was
Thanks
at work.
for coming,
but
Cameron Anderson. You were given 6 hours notice, you gimp.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to be honest,
But
yeah.
I have the list.
I went on the AW roster page and I just didn't have the heart. I was just looking at all the roster images.
pussy.
I was just looking at all the
Pussy-hole.
images. I was like, I don't have the heart to put
You're
these guys. I
fucking
don't want to look at any of these faces walking down the
All
street
right,
seeing them
All right,
homeless.
fair enough. Right, well, fun will start.
What do you mean?
So we have 3 individuals who have given us a list. Well, we don't know Tanvir's, but we also have 2 individuals involved with the Wrestle Plug Galaxy, or whatever you want to call it, and they also provided their list too. So what we will do is myself, Carl Wilkinson, and Cameron Anderson will judge whether we believe the individuals that the 3 people are about to name their lists, whether we believe their individuals deserve to be shit canned or not from AEW. And we'll start, of course, with the man in the room, the man who puts wood in Bollywood, Tanvir Verdi. I want your list of AEW talents you think could be shit canned. It's not about necessarily deserving to be fired. It's about whether they have value in AEW right now or whether we can do without them.
Yep. So one at a time. This first one might piss you off. Angelico.
Oh,
He's not doing anything in AEW. I love him.
It hurts more because you're right. He's not doing anything.
I love him. I love him.
He needs to go to AAA where he can be used as a big star again.
Yep. Next, Brandon Cutler.
Yeah, he can get in the fucking bin. He's a pile of shit.
Uh,
Carl Wilkinson and Cameron Anderson, feel free, obviously, to interject with your opinions if you have.
I'm not doing it. I'm not being Mr. Johnny
Fucking
Ace. I'm
pussy
not
off.
calling people up. I'm not
Right.
featuring Devon anyone.
Yeah.
I mean,
He sent me a private message saying that CWP would be better off without Robbie Nitro. So
it's an opinion. It's an opinion at the end of the
You don't
day.
have to, because I certainly sent that message. Fuck that guy and his Mad Max Gimp mask. Yeah, great. Just what we need when we've had enough of Robbie Nitro. Erotic Nitro. Can't wait for that. Fuck yeah, now, honestly. Just bring out the China lookalike and get over with it. So, Tanvir, please continue.
Next, Brock Anderson.
Is that Arn Anderson's son?
Yep, and
Oh,
he's
that's
doing
literally
nothing, so
my
he can go.
cousin. What the fuck? What the fuck? You can't just sack my cousin.
Well, say that.
Yeah. Next is gonna piss a few people off. Ethan Page.
Yeah,
Deserves better.
absolutely. Go back to Impact with Josh Alexander.
Give me a few between those 2 for the Impact World Championship.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what we need.
Absolutely. Next, Fuego del Sol.
Who?
Fuego del Sol. I think.
Exactly. Exactly.
Get rid of. All right,
I mean,
boom.
there's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he related to Samurai Del Sol?
No.
Well, in that case, he could definitely fuck off.
Yeah. Next, Private Party.
Oh, that
They-
fucking breaks my heart.
They're not
Again,
doing anything.
yeah, but they're good. Like, they're
I
actually
love,
good. They
but it's
should
like
be
you said. It's like, are they adding anything to AEW right now?
That's fair enough. If we're talking, I'll tell you what, if we were making a list of guys who were massively underrated and should be doing more, they'd be on that list.
Yeah. This is like the criteria you like set out for like, are these guys doing anything? Are they like contributing anything to the product right now?
Yeah, they're
No,
guys that if you got rid of them right now,
Yeah.
it wouldn't hurt the company. I
Yeah.
agree. Private
Yeah.
Party are doing that.
Next, obvious one, the Hardys, Matt and Jeff.
Do you know what? At this point, it's more for their safety, especially
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Then I've got Lee Johnson.
Who? Oh, is that? Yeah, I remember him. Big shotty Lee Johnson, was it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like good worker, but just felt like a great indie talent that was good. I'm glad he got an opportunity. I'm glad he got to eat at the big table, but nobody cares.
I'm gonna change this one because I had him written down, but he is now doing stuff. I had Kip Sabian, but he's slowly getting back
he
into
can
it.
definitely get in the fucking bin. Anyone who is Bruce's favourite wrestler has to leave. So, by the way, Kip Sabian will be returning to WAW on British shores soon to wrestle. So.
Next one, obvious, Luther.
Oh yeah, no, that guy sucks ass.
Yeah.
He looks
Then
like Robbie Nitro's dodgy cousin.
Then I've got Smart Mark Sterling.
Who the fuck is that?
He's like Tony Nese's manager. I've got Tony Nese on here as well.
Oh, Tony Nese.
But
Bruv,
he's
I
not
like
doing
Tony
any-
Nese.
He's not doing anything.
No, it fits the
He's my
criteria.
G.
Cam, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I love majority of these guys, but I'm with Aeron on this one. It breaks my heart to do this, but it's true. I've got
It's right. It's right, and we appreciate Tanvir finally being ruthless. That's what WrestlePunk is about. Ruthless opinion.
Yeah.
Ruthless opinion.
Then I put the Factory, Anthony Ogogo, Nick Comoroto, just those two, Anthony Ogogo and Nick Comoroto.
Oh, I would have got rid of the entire factory, including Onion Head.
I think QT still has some value in places.
No,
Fair enough.
out. He's on my list.
Then
Get
I've
out.
got
Yeah. By the way, Anthony Ogogo is doing more with Tate Mayfair's on Progress.
then I've got a new addition to AEW who they didn't need to sign, Parker Bordeaux.
What is the point? He wasn't over in WWE. They made him look stupid. He was supposedly going to be the next Brock Lesnar. Yeah, I don't get why he's even been brought in.
Then I have Big Show on here just because he's in the roster list. Don't know why.
Yeah, that's fair.
Peter Avalon.
Yeah, definitely. Gimp.
This one just pissed me off and it'll make Cam happy. Sammy Guevara.
You think Sammy Guevara is worth being booted from the roster?
I think Sammy's just not really adding much and he's actually taking
How dare
away
you?
from the
One half
product.
the mixed AAA Tag Team Championships.
Great, it's another title that AEW didn't need.
That is very true. I can understand, but I think that Sammy Guevara, with the right booking and the right kind of character, is one of the biggest stars they could have.
Then I've got Serpentico.
Yeah, he's shit.
Yeah. Then I've got Sean Dean.
What, the actor?
Now, Captain Sean Dean, I think that's his name.
Captain Sean Bean is right from Yorkshire Tea, fam. You can't be having a go at Boromir on here. There's no
Oh,
need.
no, Sean Bean is my hero.
Sean Bean is a legend.
He's my king.
I'm disappointed Cameron Anderson doesn't have more to say. I feel like he's become a bit of a fucking bottler on this podcast.
Yep. Then I've got
That's
Scorpio.
me.
Next up is Scorpio Sky.
Yeah, seemed like he had a lot of potential. Wasted now.
Yeah. Then I've got Satnam Singh.
Satnav Singh.
Yeah.
What the hell? Satnam Singh, my boy, my
Who is
favorite
he?
wrestler. You
Is
can't
he-
get rid
was
of
he
him.
somewhere else? Do I recognise him from somewhere else?
I think he was basketball. He was a basketball star.
No idea.
Yeah, he's the dude with Sanjay Dutt right now.
Off you go. Great, bring him into WWE and make Jinder a fucking champion.
Then I've got Michael Nakazawa.
Yeah, he is garbage. I do not get that.
He doesn't need to be an on-screen talent. All he needed to be was the liaison
Kenny's
between.
bad guy. He holds his jockstrap. Nobody cares.
All he
Yeah.
needed to be was the liaison between English and Japan for DDT. Like that was it. Didn't need to be an on-screen talent. Could have just had a couple matches, but no, they've made him
I
into
was
a
like to
joke.
say, we're not advocating for these people losing jobs. We're saying that they don't have value in AEW.
Then I've got Varsity Blondes. Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr.
I like Pillman Jr.
Yeah, Pillman Jr. I think should be kept and should be.
Okay, yeah. So get rid of
He
Griff.
should
I
be
was
remodeled
contemplating
in the
that
way
one too.
John Moxley is now. He should be
Yeah.
what John Moxley.
I was contemplating that too. Of like, should it just be Griff going, or should it both of them? Yeah. Just get rid of Griff. Keep Brian. That's
As
cool.
a side note, would like to say Cameron Anderson rocking the Vans t-shirt that he bought at the Gunwolf outlet recently. Very nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it is quite cool.
That's literally all you're going to get out of this game.
Then I've got.
I'm sorry, I'm just not. You know what? If we have to trade all these names that Tanvir's given us to get Sean Bean a contract at AEW and to get Pam to return, then I will begrudgingly agree to get rid of all these contracts.
Pam was pretty dang, actually.
Then I've got a couple of women's talents on here. I've got
Oh.
AQA.
Never heard of it.
Then I've got Leva Bates.
Yeah, like the librarian thing was terrible.
Then
Shame,
I've got
pretty nice girl. But
Rebel.
she does a good job as Britt Baker's manager. I think that she deserves to stay.
Okay, fair enough. Then I've got, even though she's just come in, I don't really see the value. I don't think she should be in ring. Madison Rain. I know it's a bit of a tough
She
one.
just coming to AEW actually because she was.
Yeah.
I thought she retired from Impact.
Nah, she's just coming to AEW.
I think she'd have incredible value backstage, so I'd probably keep her.
Then
I
I've
think
got,
she is in a high position backstage, isn't she?
Then I've probably got my other big one.
I'll tell you who is in a high position backstage. RBD. Am I right,
Yeah.
boys? Wait.
Oh yeah.
Got him.
Then I've got my final one and my other big one opposite Sammy Guevara, Ruby Soho, because she's not adding anything.
Oh.
I think she.
I'll tell you what, she's been misbooked from the get-go. I'll say that.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like,
Go.
as much as I love Ruby, I think she's been misused heavily and she doesn't add anything, which is a shame.
What do we think, guys? Any contentious ones there?
I don't know. I kind of forgot the
I mean,
first few ones. So
The Pillman Jr. one, I definitely want. Thought he
I'm,
could stick around for sure.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we break down the list from Alex Delanzo?
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
It's a short one, don't worry. Brian Cage, look and ability as a wrestler, but lacks that character and charisma to really stand out. I believe he's left, doesn't
He's with ROH.
I don't think he's gone yet, but
he? Okay, cool. Here's a good one. Lance Archer. Gone a bit stale after a promising
Ooh.
start alongside Jake Roberts.
yeah,
That's
he's not
true.
doing anything.
That's true, yeah, and he's been doing more New Japan stuff. So yeah, just have him go over to New Japan.
The Butcher and the Blade. Just another tag team with no direction.
Oh, I love them though.
I like them.
I like them, and they
Page. Another that's lost direction, has a bag for the charisma and potential. Loved his Impact stuff. Pretty much what we said.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy, just too much baggage.
yeah.
And Helico.
So it's better.
Aaron Solo.
I was gonna say Aaron Solo as well because the whole factory. Yeah.
Nick Comoroto and Luther and Serpentico.
So me and Al are very like-minded.
Yeah, it is. Any arguments with those or any agreements?
Yeah,
Keep Brian Cage. I like Brian Cage.
Mr. Get My Shift in. He certainly has the look, but yeah, I'll tell you what, he does lack any kind of charisma.
He doesn't lack roids.
Get mouthpiece in it.
I'm not going to argue with him. He'll crush me like a 2-cent
Yeah.
ball. All right. And finally, a man who gave us our list, which I'm very excited about, Steve Neal sent in.
Oh, the legend, the dude
the
himself.
legend of Wrestle Plug, the original co-host. Because
The first Hall of Famer of the
He is,
Wrestle Plug.
he is literally our first ever Hall of Famer. Absolutely. So, Orange Cassidy.
Yep, I like that. Fuck that
I'm
guy.
gonna, he's I'm gonna say no just because he's over with like the child audience and that it's a cool thing for kids. We may not agree with it, but if he's connecting with kids and kids find it cool, then yeah. That's the only thing. That's the only
I
thing.
guess
If-
Tony Khan is a child.
No, I watched the Orange Cassidy match against Will Ospreay, and I love that shit. So I'm keeping Orange Cassidy on the payroll.
Cameron Anderson has been removed from the Wrestle Plug. We wish him well in his future endeavors. Sammy Guevara is on Steve Neal's list.
Yay.
Marina Shafir.
I'm gonna say no. I like her. I really
lot of
like.
tension with her and Thunder Rosa, isn't there?
I like Marina Shafir as an
Yeah.
in-ring competitor. She had something like new, and she does
She's
technical.
a fighter, isn't she? MMA
Yeah.
fighter as well.
One of the 4 horsewomen.
Yeah, that's true. Matt Hardy,
Yep.
Yeah.
Santana and Ortiz, and he's put in brackets never used. I
Yep.
would very much like to
100%.
go to NXT.
Yeah, I love.
I think they'd
Santana.
flourish on Raw or SmackDown now too. Honestly,
They'd flourish
Yeah,
there.
NXT is
or
quite stacked, isn't it?
they'd flourish there, or if they just went back to Impact.
No, do you know how you should bring him in? Santos Escobar debuts on the main roster. Looks a little bit undersized. Proud and Powerful debut alongside him as his lackeys. And then
But
we
what
have
a-
a kind of Mexican bloodline.
So you've
Yeah.
got like, so it would be the 5 of them. It would be Legado del Fantasma and Santana Ortiz, or just.
I mean, I'd be happy with those. And then you could have Legado in there as well if you want. Why not? Pack
You're,
mentality.
you're just firing. Legado, my boys.
I didn't say I was throwing them under the bus. Your boys, please. When was the last
I
match
love
you watched of theirs?
Was that-
I watched
you-
them in the tag team turmoil match.
you could do that against the Bloodline because there's 5 in the Bloodline because you got Solo Sikoa and you got Sami Zayn. There's 5 people there, 5 on 5.
That is
Traditional
true.
Survivor Series
Yeah,
elimination
Sami
style.
Zayn.
tag
Yeah, I
match.
was gonna say. I think Carl's just booked Survivor Series.
Yeah, let's see.
6 if you count Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman is not part of that match.
Paul
Well,
Heyman's in the match. Paul Heyman's booked for the main event of Survivor Series.
we
everyone.
continue. We have
We
Ruby
can
Soho.
report it here first. Wrestle Plug exclusive. Paul Heyman has been booked in the main event of Survivor Series.
Stop making things up and promising me. You know some Mark's going to watch this and be like, oh, Paul Heyman's going to wrestle again. Shut the fuck up. Ruby Soho is on the list. So obviously
Yeah.
Steve agrees with Tanvir. Danhausen.
I like Danhausen. He's,
I don't know why,
he's,
but is
he's
he
not-
adding value to AEW?
I think so. Yeah, he is in parts. Just as more like the humorous stuff, and he's just like not like Orange Cassidy over the top level. It's just like few little segments with Danhausen, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's cool to see
Very
Danhausen.
nice, very evil.
Yep.
QT Marshall, thank God.
Yep.
Get in the bin. Brandon Cutler,
Yep.
Yep.
Jay Lethal.
Yep.
Ooh,
100%. What's he done?
Nothing.
that's true. That's true.
Sanjay Dutt.
I like Sanjay.
Well,
He hasn't done much
backstage.
either.
Has he
Yeah.
been on screen? I haven't seen much of him.
Yeah, he's been like Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh's manager.
We got 3 big heavy hitters here.
Ooh.
Malachi Black, misused again. Obviously, that's not in reference to his mental health. He just thinks that he's not being used correctly.
fair.
I'd say no. I think Malachi's been okay. Just
Samoa Joe, and he's put in brackets, never fit.
with Joe, it's just more the age thing.
I mean, like
Well, he's
physically
also
fit,
doing-
like he's been hitting the gym, or just like he doesn't fit in AEW.
He's also been doing more of the Ring of Honor stuff though. Like
Yeah.
we have to like
Yeah, he had so much value. I think they should maybe lean towards making him the GM of the Ring of Honor portion of things.
yeah, because he's still like the
he's
TV
the-
champ.
yeah, he's the
a
TV
champ
champ.
of some sort. Yeah.
Lance Archer, no one cares.
Yeah, we saw the
I
yeah.
disagree. I care about Lance Archer.
Just let him do New Japan. Just
I
let him.
hope he has a good life. I don't want to
No
see
one
anything
said
bad
we
happen
don't
to
want
him.
him to have a good life. No
Jesus
one's
Christ.
shitting on Lance Archer, basically because he'll crush everyone in here inside 5 seconds. But it's that thing of like, it's just what has he done? Like,
I've
he lost the title. That I
Yeah.
think he lost the final of the TNT Championship to Cody. What has
Yeah.
he really done since then?
Nothing.
Nothing.
He was number one
I've-
contender against John Moxley.
Yeah, how that
and
work?
against Hangman, and he lost.
It is John Moxley. You know, he's quite a good wrestler.
He
Is
has
Is
he
he
has
though?
he has beaten Moxley, but the thing is, it was for the IWGP US belt. So that's what I'm saying. Just have Archer do New Japan.
Yeah, go back to Suzuki Goon. That's where you were
Yeah.
good.
He done it. He was in the G1 this year, and he's actually really good. So that's
That's
why it's
it.
like yeah.
Steve says he's sure there are more. Roster is bloated and filled with few G-Goes, which I haven't taken into account. So it could have been
So-
more.
I was gonna
So
put
it is pronounced Suzuki Goon, yeah.
Suzuki Gun, yeah, because Gun in Japanese means army. So Suzuki
That's
Gun.
what I thought, because I heard that and I heard people saying it like that, but then I said it and then George made fun of me for saying it like
No.
that.
Yeah,
Suzu-
are you really going to take George's opinion seriously, though? Oh, I'm going
Alright.
to
I'm firing George. I'm literally
I
firing
want to go to
George.
Coldplay and then I'm going to cancel the day before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gimp.
I
Did you
hope
know-
George gets removed from AEW.
Cam.
That
did
is
you-
my wish.
Cam, did you know who the leader of Suzuki-gun was before Minoru Suzuki? And it was
Go
called
on,
something
Benjamin.
different. It was a Satoshi Kojima. It was called Kojima-gun.
Kojima Goon.
Yeah,
Sounds like a really weird Japanese porn.
yeah.
I'm making my own goon up.
What, Anderson Goon?
Anderson Goon.
And a goon.
Anderson
Goon. All right, there you go. That's the new faction taking over Brick Rats. Just out of curiosity, Cameron Anderson, I will give you the floor. If you had the opportunity to create a super faction, let's just say it is Andagoon, who would be the 4 individuals that would join you in said faction?
Oh, I've only got 4. I was gonna pick everyone on
Now have to be Brick Rats.
Tanvir's release list. Just have the biggest faction.
You are such a
What
twat.
is this? NWO 99?
Yeah, fuck it.
I thought
I'm
it was
having the whole
Bullet
roster.
Club.
Stevie Ray and Andagoon.
I'm having every wrestler on it. So we're never gonna lose a single match.
Yeah, Glacier is definitely in there.
All right, if I got to pick 4 people,
4 wrestlers from Britain, shall we say? So it's a little bit more
Ooh.
relatable to some of our viewers. Maybe wrestlers that we know, but 4 wrestlers from the British indie scene that would join you in your super faction.
I don't really want to do wrestlers from the indie scene because then it just
I
seems
don't
like I'm
give a
sucking
fucking
people's
shit.
dicks
You're
that we
doing as you're
know.
told. Otherwise, I'll you fucking
Can I do it for Cam?
Yeah, go on. Take.
So you
take
got
take the hot seat.
you got Arn Anderson, All Anderson, Brock Anderson, and Carl Anderson.
Yeah, that's good. That works for me.
the Anderson 5.
Mr. Anderson.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, put me in there with Mr. Anderson. Obviously I'm gonna have Victor Logan in there still. Brock Lesnar and Wendy Shute.
British
Shute.
independent
British
wrestling
independent
star.
wrestler Brock Lesnar.
It's not-
Mr. Anderson is not British independent wrestler.
Yeah, I asked
Okay.
for British wrestler. Stop being a fucking pussy.
No one wants a serious answer. They just want a
I'm gonna
silly
book it.
idea.
I'm gonna wrestle them at some point in Premier Promotions. I don't want to get in trouble. We're saying put
I'm
some
not going to
guys
get in
over.
trouble, but I don't want to seem like a massive suck up.
I want to have Chuck
Oh,
Mamba.
really? Do you not? Because I'll tell you what, mate, that's pretty much your legacy at this point. Pick 4 wrestlers or I'm disconnecting you right now.
All right. George, Archie.
Aaron and
wrestlers.
Victor.
Yeah, George, Archie, Mr. Ralston, my geography teacher from back in the day, and my dad.
Your dad is the most legitimate athlete out of all those selections.
I'm surprised you didn't even say Cruz or Logan. You're
No
like,
Cruz, no Logan, no Aaron Nix, no Ebenezer the Geezer, no Tate Mayfairs, no Jordan Breaks. None of these people. No Michael.
Yeah, I got Mr. Ralston and my dad.
Yeah. Cameron took the Vin Diesel approach and it was like, it's about family. I'm choosing my dad.
I'd just like to point out that Premier Promotions is under the obligation of now realizing that apparently Cameron Anderson values George Whittle over Jordan Breaks.
It's not true. It's not the
All that
truth.
time Jordan put into you and you don't even put him in your faction.
All right. Obviously, if they're both hanging over fire and I've only got the chance to choose one, I'm saving Jordan Breaks.
What, over George? Are you
Yeah,
saying
George's got nothing
in
to live for. Let's be
in a
real.
situation of life or death, George Whittle dies in favour of Jordan Breaks.
Cam was saying like, yeah,
Now
George
we're
has
getting
nothing
into
to
the
live for.
gossip. Now we're getting the juice.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, absolutely. To be fair, I'd absolutely bin you off, George, if it meant working for more promotions. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. George
Mate,
Whittle,
even if it's
sadly,
Patrick
passed away.
Clark and George, George is going
Patrick
in the
Clark
fire.
and George. You still pick Patrick Clark over George.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Fine, Cam, I'll raise that.
The WrestleBug in no way
Cam.
endorses any of Patrick Clark's behavior.
Cam, I'll up that. Jimmy Savile or George?
Oh my lord. George Savile.
That one I just can't. I cannot comment.
I cannot. Oh, okay.
All right, guys. So Gary Glitter or Jimmy Savile's hanging over fire. Who are we going with?
Bill
Hey, Gary
Cosby.
Blair sang rock and roll.
I'm taking Bill
Not that I
Cosby.
ever want to side with a well-known sexual predator, but Gary Glitter's rock and roll is extremely famous. When did Jimmy Savile ever provide the entrance music for famous NBA teams?
Or in
That
the
is
film The
true.
Joker.
Jimmy Savile is cringe.
Yeah. Fuck. What about Rolf Harris? Were you giving him a pass?
What about OJ Simpson?
I'm choosing OJ over George any day.
Yeah, OJ Simpson, prime athlete. Prime athlete.
I watched Naked Gun and I didn't even realize that was OJ Simpson.
On a knife edge, I'd definitely pick OJ Simpson. See what I did there?
What about Bill Cosby?
Oh my lord.
Nah, this has just gone too far now.
This devolves.
Wrestle Plug is clearly having a laugh and in no way endorses any of these horrendous human beings.
Yeah, Joseph Fritzl in it.
Oh no.
The joke is, guys, that we're letting our friend die over these terrible people.
We're
It's
just
a
trying to
joke.
one up. We're just trying
The
to
joke is we'd rather save terrible people than save our friend.
get Joseph Stalin. Come on.
Wait, George is our friend.
Just-
Mate, he thinks Rhino is the best wrestler in the world. Where does Rhino rank on your greatest all-time wrestlers, Carl Wilkinson?
Not even top 50.
Top 100 easy.
He's not even the top 50 best Detroit wrestlers.
Yeah.
I like Rhino. I like
Rhino
Rhino.
a
He's
lot.
good.
Yeah, but I fucking love loads of wrestlers. Doesn't mean they should be in the fucking. He's got Rhino on his Mount Rushmore.
You know, he's a simple man. He likes a Rhino match.
Yeah,
he
he's
likes Heath
simple,
Slater and
alright.
Rhino.
He's real simple. Right. One more thing before we get out of Dodge. It's any other business time. What do we want to talk about?
All right, who are we saving over fired?
Right. Rishi Sunak. Gotta go, I'm afraid, mate. You're burning in hell.
I'd rather save Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Who would you say, Donald Trump or Rishi Sunak?
Rishi Sunak.
Just
I don't
look
know
at
who that
this
is.
shit at this end. That's why. Like, you got to protect your brothers. I know what you're up to there. This is a race thing. You have a problem with orange people like Donald Trump.
I'm saving Trump. I feel like he's got more comedic value as
Yeah.
time goes on.
Yeah.
I don't
he
know
has
who
been
the
at
second person
WrestleMania.
is.
Kyle.
Rishi Sunak is the former Chancellor of the Exchequer, basically the guy who controls the money for the Tory party under Boris Johnson.
Oh,
He's a multi-billionaire and is responsible for putting more people in food banks, arguably, than anybody else in British history.
okay, fuck that guy.
I've got a quick question.
Have you?
I have a quick answer.
So the cinema near me is doing showings of Star Trek 2 Wrath of Khan. Do I have
Sure.
to have been like
Khan!
do I have to have like watched Star Trek or like before I go see it, or could I just go in blind and
I mean,
enjoy it?
you could go in blind and you'll enjoy it, but you won't understand what the animosity between Kirk and Khan is.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause
Like,
I
you can
got-
still
say
go in.
go
It's
anyway.
Yeah, 'cause-
still the best of the original 6 films. It's still the
Yeah.
best one.
yeah, 'cause
First
I've got-
one's awful, isn't it?
Oh, motion picture, fucking garbage.
Garbage.
they're doing showings of that, so I was tempted to go see it,
skip
but
it.
now that I know, thank you.
Skip it.
I demand that you take me to that. I want to go and watch Wrath of Khan with Tanvir.
Because Wrath of Khan is really good. Search for Spock is less good. Voyage Home is fucking awesome.
Oh, is that the one where they get trapped?
They go back in time. Yeah, they go back in time with the whales and shit.
or something, don't they?
Yes, the whales.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. That film.
And then Final Frontier is where they find God, and that was pretty
Okay.
shit.
Mhm.
And then Undiscovered
Who plays
Country is
God?
really good.
Yeah, because like I've never seen anything about Star Trek. I just know like word of mouth through my friends, so that's why I thought, well, I've got 2 Star Trek like aficionados here.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
Star
absolutely
Trek is-
do.
Yeah, I love Star Trek. Unashamedly a fan of Star Trek. I know that's going to cop me a lot of heat, especially in locker rooms. Don't care. Star Trek's amazing. Much
Star
better.
Trek's better than. Yeah, I was gonna say Star Trek's better than Star Wars. Fight me.
Star Wars can suck my dick.
I think
I-
Star Wars is mid.
Yeah, I can't even like
That's
have an
because you're
opinion on
12,
that
shut up.
because it's like I can't even have an opinion on that because yeah, I'm a Star Wars kid, but I know nothing about Star Trek, so I can't even.
No, I didn't say
compare.
Star Trek was mid. I said Star Wars.
Yeah, I know,
is
I know.
mid.
Yeah, it is big.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Unlike the
and-
film The Joker, which is incredible.
Yeah, and the thing is, I can't even like when people are like, "Oh, Star Trek's better than Star Wars better than Star Trek." I'm like, I can't really compare because I've never
Why
seen
can't you
Star
just
Trek.
enjoy both?
Yeah,
They're-
I've just grown up with Star Wars more, so that's why I'm going to be more leaning that way because
Rogue One is pretty sick, to be fair.
I was like,
The
I
problem
never
is-
grew up with Star Trek, so I wouldn't know.
they're both set in space, but they're both very different programs.
they're
in
both set in
premise.
space.
Like Star Wars for me is like a big space opera, right? Like you've got the big bad guy, blah blah blah. Whereas Star Trek is more exploration. Like it's more like, you know, the original series is about a 5-year mission, going away from Earth for 5 years and coming back and, you know, telling them what they found.
Also, Star Trek is arguably the very first medium to truly promote equality in a time when it was very difficult to get behind that.
Oh, rest of power, Nichelle Nichols, by the way. I'm sure
Yeah.
you heard she
Oh,
passed.
yeah.
There you
was
go.
that Uhura?
Yeah, that was the original Lieutenant Uhura, and her and William Shatner shared the first interracial kiss on network TV.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. See, like I know some of the character names and stuff, but
That
yeah,
Well, then
is
you've-
10 incidents.
Yeah, like have you seen the new ones, like with Chris Pine as Kirk and everything?
no, I haven't.
Oh,
That's
the
why
new ones are so good.
Is
Yeah,
is the animated series any good? Because it's available on Amazon Prime.
I haven't watched it. I want to.
I thought you might have watched that. Like
Was it Lower Decks? I
planning
think?
on working my way over to that stuff once off because I'm still working my way through Next Generation at the moment again. But
Oh yeah, easy.
I just feel like there's so many incredible moments in Star Trek, whereas Star Wars, I can probably count on one hand the great things that I remember from it. Admittedly, smaller sample size because it's just films, but there is loads of stuff, isn't there? Like you've got the Clone Wars series. There is like, you know, plenty of.
You got
Wars-
Rebels.
Clone Wars is incredible. That's like the only thing that I'd say
I'll
from
tell you what,
Star
Star Wars
Wars.
does have better video games.
I mean,
Yeah.
you had the
Like
Force
the Old
Unleashed.
Republic.
Force Unleashed. We had Jedi Fallen Order,
Oh, Fallen
Battlefront.
Order's peak.
Knights of the Old Republic, you fucking children.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Qatar.
give me KOTOR. Give me KOTOR.
That's the fucking original proper RPG. That blows all the Final
The-
Fantasy out of the water, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
I love Final Fantasy though.
Just the-
Oh, really? Do you?
I mean, same, but
Yeah.
Star Wars also had an MMO.
Well,
There's
it's not
also
the
just Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is literally just
Yeah.
a Star Wars WoW, and it was also pretty good.
Yeah, plus, like you say, Force Unleashed, they're brilliant games. Both of them are excellent.
Uh.
And the latest one as well is pretty good, what I played of it.
The
What,
first
Fallen
full-
Order?
Yeah, that one. And
Yeah.
also,
Incredible.
Squadrons is amazing.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So, yeah.
All about that, you know, like when you first ever watched Star Wars, you thought, I want to be an X-Wing, you know, or a TIE fighter pilot, and you get to
We're
do
not-
that in full,
we're-
glorious 3D. Brilliant.
We're talking about Star Wars games, so we didn't talk about like the best Star Wars games.
Yeah,
They-
Pod Racer.
Versus
No.
TIE fighter.
No, Lego Star Wars.
Don't like it.
Really?
Hate it. I
love
don't get
Lego
it.
Star Wars.
I don't, because there's too much just putting Lego pieces together and not enough actual fun fighting and stuff.
The like the first few that came up, those
Lego
are like
Harry Potter's better.
I'd say years 1 to 4 of Lego Harry Potter I had a lot of fun with. I just didn't enjoy years 5 to 7.
All I'm saying is Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer for the N64 is peak.
Yeah.
It is, but I remember renting. I bought the game outright from Ross Records, which is a very famous old chain in Portsmouth. It's gone now, and
Oh.
I remember buying it and completing it and taking it back 2 days later. Too short.
Nice.
Oh, you just play it with the boys, like you get the 4-screen multiplayer.
Oh.
That's the
Yeah, I
best
didn't have
part.
any friends at that point, so
Uh,
the only
What-
game I ever remember playing ad nauseum with my friends was GoldenEye.
Oh, yeah.
GoldenEye. Would there be like a way to do a Star Trek game, or have there been any like Star
There
Trek
is a
games?
Star Trek Online game you can play on the
Yeah, there is a Star Trek
Okay.
MMO.
Oh,
It's
cool.
not very good.
Oh, okay.
But
It's also not very good.
Yeah, because I hear in just
yeah, like I didn't like it, but I have a lot of friends who still play it. So you know, Lance and all that lot, they play it quite a lot. And yeah,
Honestly?
but I personally didn't think it was very good either.
would you say to an extent that No Man's Sky is kind of like a Star Trek game in
was-
a way?
I was just gonna say if you gave me No Man's Sky with a Star Trek coat of paint, I
Yeah.
would never play anything else.
I
No
was
Man's
told, rather interestingly, by an individual by the name of Danny Woodgate that Cameron Anderson badgered him to download No Man's Sky, only to play it once and never play it again. Is this correct information?
I have to say, I tried out this video game.
Hmm.
Not enough guns and knives in the locker room, so I uninstalled it.
No Man.
No Man's Sky, the game about space exploration, apparently didn't have enough guns and knives.
I bought No Man's Sky when it first came out, and it was just bare bones. Like I didn't really enjoy it, so I traded it in. If I had known like what it'd become, I would have kept it.
Interesting.
I actually still do have it installed. I've just not really gotten into it.
You've got everything installed. You've got like a 10 terabyte hard drive.
He's too busy flipping still on Minecraft.
Yeah, I got the old Guns and Knives locker in Minecraft sorted out now. So
I do have GTA fully installed again, so if anyone wants to play that online, give it a shout.
Apparently, Rocksteady's just said like
What,
GTA
from
5.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No, no, apparently, yeah,
You mean
people from
Rockstar,
Rocksteady.
don't
Yeah, Rockstar. I'm getting the Batman company, Rocksteady. Yeah, Rockstar. Apparently, Rockstar's like officially just announced that like GTA 5 is done. Like they're not doing any more with it. It's like
Good.
done now. Like apparently it's like done now.
Did that get released? I think it was 2013, wasn't it?
It got released
Yep.
a decade ago because I remember
Almost
getting it on the
10 years,
PS3.
we still have no real hint of when there's going to be a 6 drop in. Like,
the
even I've
remaster.
kind of lost my patience with it a bit at this point. I've just now, like, one of those things now where I'll go on GTA 5 if my mate's playing it. Otherwise, whatever. I'm just waiting for 6 now while playing
You
other
got
stuff.
you got the remasters that came out and they sucked. Of 1, 2, 3, I think.
They were just, oh yeah, fuck me. No, it was I think it's GTA 3 by City
It was
and San
3.
Andreas.
Yeah.
And fuck me, they are bad. Bad
Yeah, that-
games.
I saw
George Whittle
also,
played them ad nauseum. They must be terrible.
I saw also, Aaron, what you put up about Saints Row.
Have you seen it? The new Saints Row?
Yes,
It
I
looks
have.
Fucking shit.
It is not good. It is not
It's
good.
bad, man. Cameron Anderson, how tired are you?
I'm pretty tired, man.
I can tell that because you look like a right moody bastard, man. So, all right, Cameron Anderson, we'll leave you with the final floor. Is there anything you'd like to talk about?
Nope.
Cool.
Cool. Well, okay, I guess we'll go fuck ourselves then. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been quite the State of Wrestling address. It was a lot of fun until Cameron decided that he's a melt and wanted to be tired. And by the way, he is the youngest of all of us, so that speaks volume. So yeah, we shall leave it there. However, if you have opinions, tell you what, why don't you let us know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're listening, why not send them in to @WrestlePlug across social media, who you think can be removed from the AEW roster without frankly hurting the product whatsoever. We'd like to hear what your opinions are, and also where you think they might actually be of more value elsewhere, because it's not about them losing a job, it's about them being used properly in the right places. From Kyle Wilkinson, who we haven't seen in about 10 years. Lovely to see you again, brother. Tanvir Verdi, and of course, Cameron Cream Anderson, who, don't forget, October the 22nd, ladies and gentlemen, will be challenging Good Goth Almighty for the Tag Team Championships alongside either Victor Logan or Aaron Cruz. Yes, indeed. We do have a Freebirds rule in effect. 2 of those 3 men will challenge for the Tag Team Championships representing Bromance. That's October the 22nd for Charity Wrestling Promotions. And that will, of course, take place at the Oasis Hub, Lord's Hill Academy in Southampton. Make sure you get tickets. They are going to be available on the door. £10 for adults, £5 for children. All money going to the Dylan's Quest charity. As I've said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to the boys for joining me. I've been Aaron X, and we'll catch you very soon for more content from the Wrestle Plug.
Nah, you guys can't do it. You guys are bad at it.
Yeah,
Aaron and I can do it.
fuck those guys.